Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Wednesday, number 26th day for the month of April 2023. My name na Capo Daniel, una own countryman, Mr. No Connie, Ambazonian FBI. I don't come again once more with another episode of our daily podcast, a program where it bring the truth, it bring una meaningful information, facts-based analysis for help we as we work out for this journey to our freedom, to the independence of Ambazonia. Good people of Ambazonia, the colonial terrorist in chief of the Savannah state, Mr. Lele Afrique, pay a provocative visit to the Mancon traditional palace together with Archbishop Nkea. Archbishop Nkea become the face of La République du Cameroon, their propaganda for their so-called reconstruction program, where they carry them out and they campaign for present an image to the international community, say things have so-called returned back to so-called normalcy. This normalcy is being interpreted as Cameroon defeating Ambazonia. Nkea is part and parcel and the face of this campaign that we have seen going from Ngokitunja to Babanki and now to the Fons Palace, carrying with him the colonial terrorist Lele Afrique. The Ambazonian People's Right Advocacy Platform is thereby labeling Nkea as an enabler to Cameroon colonialism of Ambazonia. Nkea is undeniably aiding, abetting, and collaborating with the state of Cameroon to rebrandish itself and deceive the international community and our local population of La République du Cameroon's control and legitimacy over our territory. Archbishop Nkea, who hail from the great state of Lebialem, should be cautioned of his activity in collaboration with the state of Cameroon. What he is doing is pure propaganda and political campaign and has nothing to do with the church mission, which is to bring the body of Christ close to the followers of the Catholic Church. In other issues, Ambazonians from all factions and all stripes and colors have been commemorating the passage of the famous United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1808, the resolution where it authorized or approved the union between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon and set in place modality and legal requirement for that union to take place. A union that never took place and a union which was used as a justification for the annexation and eventual recolonization of Ambazonia. If Ambazonians should ever learn anything about this resolution that was used to annex our territory, is the warning signs that we all missed and our people took for granted. Right before we left Onugu, member of John Gu Foncha's own political party had to switch sides and warn our people that John Gu Foncha was plotting with the state of Cameroon and Amadou Ahidjo in particular to take Ambazonia and join it with La République du Cameroon. That was far before the Manfé conference, where representative of our people by our traditional leaders voted that the ambition and aspiration of our people were for an outright independence of our territory. Our people knew the plans of John Gu Foncha before they left Onugu. Parliamentarians left his side and joined the party of Ndele because John Gu Foncha was plotting with Amadou Ahidjo. Despite all the promises made to the United Nations by Amadou Ahidjo and John Gu Foncha and the campaign in Ambazonia for the plebiscite, the vote for the United Nations Resolution 1808 was a clear sign and a warning shot to our people. La République du Cameroon rejected, opposed, and voted against that resolution. That should have sent a clear message. Even the blind could see. Even the lame could walk in this case. How can you think you want to join with the people who have voted against joining? How can we possibly be so stupid, so foolish? What curse has this generation of the Fonchas brought upon us all? Indeed, Foncha was an agent, a French Cameroon citizen, a paper citizen of Ambazonia who came right from Befang, not even from Chang. His father was a cripple, from what we have known from facts, that also left his village and settled in Chang because he was rejected. And when Bishop Rogan opened a center for the crippled people with leprosy, that is what brought Jongu Foncha's father from Chang to Bamenda, where he was adopted and given Nkwen name, and a woman given to him by the palace of Nkwen to hide his identity and for him to be used by the Catholic Church to be disguised an Ambazonian leader, empowered, educated, modeled, and presented to our people. Oh, Ambazonia, how could we miss this? If Cameroon voted against the United Nations resolution that was meant to join us, how then could we proceed with the same country which have stated clearly the ambition, something we had known earlier before? What did we miss? Are we still in the same position in our mental state that the same thing can happen to us today? Have we learned from the mistakes of the past? Have we studied? Today we spend times and times studying about the Fumban Conference, how Foncha hit the constitution of La République du Cameroon for federation, which have been approved by their parliament, to Ambazonians. How Foncha neglected the Southern Cameroon Bar Association submission on how we can unite with La République du Cameroon. He kept it aside, hide documents from delegates, and suddenly in Fumban, everybody appeared disarmed, and yet they continue to party in Kumban, dancing Bikutsi with Fumban girls. You all know the result of that. It's a war 60 years after, with our people being risked to be taken captive. As Honorable Weber warned, we are being treated like a captive people. Now we face the possibility of becoming an actual captive people for La République du Cameroon if we did not learn from the examples, the warning signs of the Fumban Conference. History will judge this generation. Today, our people are even afraid to learn. Our people are being even afraid to be elevated. They don't want to know. They want to be blind. They want to be blind. It is like a people in a vehicle that has lost its brake and will prefer that the driver put on music rather than warn them to tie their seatbelt while the driver maneuver and hope that by God's grace they evade any calamity. If you have cancer or SIDA, it will save you well to have early warning, to know so that you can seek treatment and get rid of that cancer. Lest you die in your silence and in your blindness. Ambazonians should wake up. Our people should wake up and fight like our whole generation depends on this moment in our history. For indeed, it depends on it.
建立外交关系的国家之一，中方尊重苏联解体后各加盟共和国主权国家地位。关于乌克兰问题，中方的立场是明。
Una go the wonder, Usa would come out with swing chong chong for inside podcast. Now big news where it happened internationally, where the Chinese ambassador for France, he done make some big statement where he talks say the ex-Soviet states lack basis for sovereignty. The Chinese ambassador for France, Mr. Liu Xie, he talks say the time where Soviet Union it be break into several countries them. All the various countries the way they be separate from that Soviet Union, then lack a firm basis for their sovereignty under international law. That statement it will be condemned by the whole world. The French government they don't kick out the ambassador, and the whole world it protests against them.
Integrated policy review with an Indo-Pacific tilt. And in the new review, it's mentioned very clearly, not just the war in Ukraine, but also in the Indo-Pacific. And all these kinds of views highlighted the UK government's attention to the possible scenarios in the Indo-Pacific. And if we go back to the war in Ukraine, we did not stop Russia from taking over Crimea. And the Russians were emboldened to go ahead and initiate a war against Ukraine. And the same kind of analogy can be drawn on the Indo-Pacific. We did not stop China from imposing national security law in Hong Kong. And people were asking, what is going to be the next? Is Taiwan going to be the next? Now Taiwan is feeling all this pressure. And if Taiwan is being taken by China, we can imagine that the waters within the first island chain, whether it's East China Sea or Taiwan Strait or South China Sea, I think it's all going to fall under China's influence or China's control. And it's going to be a danger for the countries in this region. And if we do not stop the authoritarianism from expanding any further, I think China has an ambition over the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, and Africa. And therefore, the lesson is that we need to stop the authoritarianism from expanding further. We made a mistake in not stopping Russia from attacking Ukraine. And I hope the like-minded partners, the UK included, can stop China from initiating any war against Taiwan.
That one na an analysis provided by the Taiwanese foreign minister. And wait we talk equal about Africa if we're not here. This is the same problem we are facing in Ambazonia, and our people need to know the basis of international law we will fight for, so that they go fit identify them wherever they see them. Because if we fight for independence today, we go quote na United Nations. Now wait till be that law it talk and how it be applied internationally. The issue ma broken for now. Russia it be na a country before they call and say Soviet Union. That country it be big. It be include Ukraine and many other countries. The way down with that country, it be dissolved, it be broke into several parts. All of that country, they be go become their own independent country, including Ukraine. So Russia now, it talks say all that country, they're not part of Russia. They never ever be true country. Now say they talk them, and I say that Chinese, the ambassador, it can talk them to say that country them, no be true country them. They not already get, no be true country. They be just on territory them. So now they think in that way, they challenge them. And at the same thinking way Cameroon, it advance them for Ambazonia. They talk say because Ambazonia, it be been a part of German Cameroon. Where after World War, that German Cameroon, it be divided into 5. So all that territory then supposed to be back one as one Cameroon. Say Ambazonia no be true country. Now the same international principle, the way they apply. The difference, I say, the war, it don't always be turn a blind eye towards such crisis than like how we see for Crimea, time where Russia be take Crimea, the war be don't talk say after all, it be done be in one country, that people that they talk the same language, then get the same history. Why they no fit join together? But the international law, we form the United Nations and the current international rule-based system, it forbid make any country expand its border based on some historic past. It focus say all internationally recognized boundary as of independence of all the states when they create the United Nations and when the country then join the United Nations, they no fit consider their past boundary as their sovereign territory. And if they need to expand, it must be with consent of the other territory. And African Union even talks that they must get a union treaty for such union to happen or for any territory to expand beyond its legal border. So now for the way these two things then join. The French President Emmanuel Macron, Iran commodity echo that same principle. The same principle where we Ambazonians would die for. Say just because a country be part of country before, it no means saying a part of that country and international law no fi ever consider that country as part of that country. So make Ambazonia they know so they on the right side of the law. Even the international community, they don't wake up for this reality. As how the Taiwanese people they talk them, and how even President Zelensky he didn't talk them. Say this war for Ukraine, it will determine the war order, how we go fit continue for the live together as a global village. Make we no fit say until it happen for international community, you no get any link with we. It is sure to say if the war it talk say the people then for Ukraine then get sovereignty. Now a sovereign state and their territorial integrity need to be respected. Now so it's supposed to apply for Ambazonia. We must fight for our right of our statehood and the right for our people to determine their political outlook, whether to be an independent country or not. That decision should be ours. Your independence is in your hand. Capo Daniel, signing off, looking out for you.